everyone, welcome back to my booktube channel, Unicorns and Typewriters. My name is Skylar and I'm back today with another very exciting booktube video. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about my end of the year reading goals. There's also a tag going around, I believe, called the end of the year reading tag, and basically I'm doing that. I'm going to be talking about which books I want to read before the year is over and where I am with my reading goals. We are officially in the month of December, which is so crazy because it really feels like no time has passed since 2020 and now we're going to be going into 2022. So that's alarming. At the same time, I think I said this in my video that I did last year, it does feel to me that a full year has gone by. It has also been another really long year for me. So I did feel the passing of time and I do feel like a year has passed. I just don't feel really satisfied with the year because of the fact that I've spent a lot of my time working and struggling and kind of trying to figure out my life, and I feel like I just want to get to the point where I figured out my life a little better so I can enjoy my free time a bit more, but that's all a work in progress, so it's gonna be okay, probably. But anyway, life is hard, so let's just talk about books. That is the best way to deal with your problems. Talk about books instead. Jumping right in, before the year is over, I want to finish the 3 books that I have already begun reading. Technically, I've actually begun 4 books, but one of them I believe I'm going to DNF, so I will talk about that probably in my sort of end of the year wrap up, end of the month wrap up at the end of December. I'll tell you more about which book that was. You might already know if you've been watching my videos because I have mentioned multiple times that I'm probably going to DNF it. But anyway, regardless, the book that I am reading while I'm at work, I kind of read on my lunch breaks, is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I like to take off the cover to go to work, but this is the cover we all love and know. So I have a little bit over a third left and I'm absolutely loving it. I 10 out of 10 recommend this book so far. So far, so good. I love the concepts of magic, the idea of books that are alive and kind of monstrous. And I also love the concept of demons in this book as well. I'm really, really excited to read this, and I know I will finish this before the month is over because I honestly want to sit down and read it right now. So I know it will not last me much longer. I really, really want to know what happens, and I'm really excited to find out. And I know this book got overall really good reviews, so I think I will end up being very happy with it, but we will have to see. Another book that I'm reading that has kind of become like my bedtime book, I like to have books for all times of the day, is Untamed by A.G. Howard. I've also got the cover here separately, but if you've been watching my channel, you know that I've read the first book in the Splintered series last year, and then I read the second and third book finishing the series this year. However, I also wanted to read this extra book. This is like I guess novella you might call it. It's a collection of short stories. Oh, she calls it a companion on the front. So far, I am enjoying it. What I've gotten to so far is kind of about Alyssa's mother. If you've read the series, Alyssa is the main character. In the book series Splintered, Alyssa is a descendant of Alice Liddell, who inspired the Alice in Wonderland, written by Lewis Carroll, who are both real people. This series is cool, the Splintered series, because it goes into the idea of what it would be like if Wonderland really was real and what kind of misconceptions would have occurred in Lewis Carroll's novel, what things he might have taken liberty to change compared to the real world of Wonderland. And I really, really enjoyed the series. It definitely is very like early 2000s. We have kind of like a love triangle. I did a whole review video on that if you want to check it out. I can link it down below. This book, Untamed, is kind of a collection of short stories, and Alyssa's mother obviously is also a descendant of Alice Liddell. She, in a lot of the series, is in an asylum. We don't really get to hear her side of the story. We kind of learn it through Alyssa. What I've read so far, the first like third of the book, is about Alyssa's mom and her journey to Wonderland, and what happened to her and what made it so she didn't end up staying in Wonderland, which then obviously leads to Alyssa and her story and why then she herself has to go to Wonderland. So something kind of has to be resolved by their family. It is really interesting to go back and kind of hear her mother's story. I'm not enjoying it as much because really I just want more of Alyssa and Morpheus. I've read reviews that say we do get a little bit of Morpheus in here, but it is mostly about Alyssa's mom and some stuff about Jed, and then we get a little bit of Morpheus apparently. So I'm kind of just in it for the little bit about Morpheus, so I'm kind of just like waiting for that. But it's a nice little bedtime book. It's relatively small, so it's not going to take me super long to read, and it's just pretty light reading to read at night. It's not the most complex writing. If anything, it's kind of over descriptive, which sometimes I like. In this case, I think it's a little overdone. I think I said about the original series, it's a little overwrought. That is my best description for it. But it's still an enjoyable concept, a dark version of Wonderland, and I really enjoy dark versions of Wonderland, including like Tim Burton's film adaptations. So it's definitely just fun for me, and I find it really interesting, and I completely love Morpheus's character because I have problems. I would definitely really love to finish this before the year is over, and I'm sure I will. I don't think I'll have a problem with that at all. This next book has been on quite a few of my TBRs, and I have been meaning to read it all year, and I've started reading it a couple times, getting progressively further in. I don't really have to go back and start over. It's just such a big book, but I'm kind of hoping that I might get to it this month because I am in the mood for it, and I really would love to finish this series, which is the Shades of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. This is the third and last book in the series called A Conjuring of Light, and I really don't have a good excuse for having not read it already, but it's taken me a while to get through this series, even though I absolutely love it. I did feel guilty because I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue before finishing this series, but I just couldn't wait. I really wanted to read Addie LaRue, and I really enjoyed it, so I don't really have any regrets, but I'm kind of hoping maybe I can finish this before the end of the year, even though it is a very thick book. I have started it. I have a little chunk done, and I know with these books that they end up going really fast because they are just so well written, so full of like twists and turns and anticipation, and I just love the characters, and I really can't wait to finish reading this. So I definitely want to make it a goal of mine to read this book before the end of the year, although I'm a little nervous just because of how big it is and how many other books I want to read as well, but I think I might be able to accomplish it, so I want to put it on this list, and I want to say it is in my reading goals, and if I don't end up reading it this year, I know it'll be one of the first things I'll read at the beginning of next year, but I'm gonna put it on this list. I also have some manga goals to read before the end of the year, and that is the Miracle Girls series. I've talked about this series quite a bit. It's taken me a little longer to finish the series than I thought it would, but it's just kind of cutesy. It's not like the most like depth-filled story in the world. It's just about these two girls that have telepathic powers. They're twins. It's really cute. It's really fun. I picked it up because it is in the style of like the old 90s Sailor Moon books that I own actually copies of, and I just loved the 90s style art and cover and the little baby pocket size of this book. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And so I suddenly feel really old. Have I aged myself? Anyway, so the point is, it just made me feel all nostalgic when I saw it sitting on a shelf, and I did have to order the last two books online, but I got like the first 1 through 7, I believe, at a used bookstore. They were so cheap. It was so worth it. I'm definitely enjoying the series. It's very cute, but it's just not really like, it doesn't really keep you going that well. So I am like a third into the very last book, and I haven't read it in definitely probably a month or two. So I would like to just finish this up so I can say I finished the series this year, and I don't think that'll be a problem at all. I definitely think that is a doable goal for sure. The other two manga books that I really want to read before the end of the year to get caught up on a series that I have been enjoying are number 5 and number 6 of the Vampire Knight Memories series. So if you read the original series or saw the anime, which is based on the original series, Vampire Knight Memories is about sort of a span of time that we don't get to see in the original series. So if you did read it, you kind of know that at the end of the series, there's a gap of, I believe it's supposed to be 1,000 years between kind of the end of the last book and then kind of the, I guess it's like an epilogue that we get at the very end of the last book in the Vampire Knight series. And this series is covering those 1,000 years. I'm so excited to read it. I find this series to be incredibly nostalgic. I read this series and I believe watched the anime for the first time when I was a teenager and was absolutely obsessed with it. I think it's a really dark, cool, creepy, and quite original take on vampires. And I do really enjoy it, and I do highly suggest reading this if you have read the Vampire Knight series, and if you have not read the Vampire Knight series, I recommend it. And then you should also read this. If you've only ever seen the anime, I do recommend checking out the manga, because if you liked the anime at all, the anime leaves you on a huge cliffhanger that makes you think things that aren't exactly true, and it's kind of creepy and weird, and it's a really horrible place to leave you in the storyline, and I don't know why they did that, or why they never completed it. I wish they would complete this series as an anime, but hey, a lot of series are getting completed right now as animes, so maybe if we're lucky, we'll get a redo of Vampire Knight. I would be so happy if that happened. All my nostalgia dreams just coming true. I really think I can get caught up. I think the 7th book isn't coming out until like next year, which is kind of late because I think this is the only book that's come out so far this year, and usually they've been coming out with about 2 every year, so I don't know if that has to do with like production delays. Anyway, love this series and I can't wait to read on, and I'm so happy to have another ongoing Vampire Knight series because the original series was ongoing when I read it, so it's so nice to just have this in my life again. But I am sure I can get caught up and finish these 2 books before the end of the year. So I have gotten some absolutely amazing OutCrate books this year, but being realistic, if I could only choose one to read before the end of the year, which at this point that seems pretty realistic, then it would be A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. This came now, I think 2 months ago or so, and I have not gotten to read it. I know that it is kind of a dark academia theme, and I love dark academia vibes. And so I'm really kind of hoping that I can read this before the end of the year. It's definitely on my list. So if I can, I definitely will, and I will let you guys know what I think of it. But I also have heard great things about this book, so I feel like it's pretty guaranteed I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm very hopeful that I might at least get started on this book before the end of the year. I'm trying to be realistic with my reading goals. I don't have a lot of time left this year, so I feel like that is being pretty generous. It is a good handful of books. However, if I gave myself one more reading goal before the end of the year, it would be to at least get started on one other manga series, which is the Nana series. I will put a picture here because I don't have my Nana books with me, but I do have the complete set of books. I sort of panic bought the ones that I didn't have yet at the end of last year because I realized that they had kind of gone out of print. I don't know if that's 100% true. I did reach out to some bookstores that said that they weren't really out of print, they were expecting more, but I have noticed that it is really, really, really hard to find some of the Nana books, so I do believe they are out of print, if not have already gone out of print. So if you were looking to complete your series, I would recommend looking into that as soon as possible. I have wanted to read that series for a really long time. I absolutely love the anime, and I've been looking forward to reading the books because I know the books take the storyline a little further than the anime did, although both are incomplete. I will probably at some point do like an entire video on the Nana series once I finish it, so I hope if you are a fan or if you've thought about looking into that series, you will enjoy watching that. Keep an eye out for that in the future. Keeping in mind that I am a mood reader and I read what I want to when I want to, these are the books that I hope I will get to read before the end of this year that I'm planning. It's a loose TBR. I do the best I can. I may even get to read more books, but I'm just trying to be gentle with myself and be realistic. My November OutCrate I know is on the way to me now, so hopefully I will be here with an unboxing video very soon, so I hope you all look forward to that. I also do plan on doing, I believe I mentioned, a holiday book haul and or a birthday book haul because both the holidays and my birthday are this month in December. So I hope you all look forward to watching those. I know especially book hauls are my favorite videos to watch, and I know a lot of you love them as well, and they're also a heck of a lot of fun to film, so I'm really looking forward to that. There are some books that I think I will get for the holidays that I have not received yet that I may end up finishing before the end of the year, especially some shorter novels and a graphic novel, but I hate to tell you what those are at this point because with mail delays, there's always a chance that they could be late. And on top of that, I like to have an element of surprise with my book hauls, so I don't really want to tell you guys about books that I don't actually have in my hands yet and I haven't hauled. So keep an eye out for that. There are some that I do think will be added to this list that very realistically I will be finishing before the end of the year. If you enjoyed watching this video, please give it a like, comment down below, and let me know what you think of my reading goals for the end of the year. And if there are any books that you think I should prioritize or any that you think I should add to my list as well. I always love hearing your opinions down below. Also, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. I will be back with another new booktube video soon. Have a good rest of your week, everyone. Bye!